According to reports, the Zamfara state government has asked residents of the state to obtain guns to defend themselves against terrorists attacking defenseless citizens in the state. Zamfara and Katsina are two of the states most affected by the activities of terrorists locally called bandits, whose actions have led to the deaths of hundreds of people and the kidnapping of thousands of others. What are your thoughts on this? Could this be an option, especially because 4 governors at the Zamfara state go and carry arms? One is saying, get 500 more at Moteku. Another one is saying, I want CCTV across my state. And that one is giving the bandits an ultimatum. These are people saying, we can't wait for federal government anymore.
So I can't sit here and deny that, we don't have a crisis of insecurity across the country. I just cannot. What I cannot understand is the governor seeming helpless and saying to the larger number of uninformed people carry weapons. Because when the disaster reached finish, he will not admit that he caused it. Let's talk about Zamfara and Katsina, for instance, and the level of information that the people in that area have before you say carry weapons. The people who are already carrying weapons, is their lack of information that makes it okay for them to kill other people just to justify one agitation or the other, which is what we are dealing with. They initially were called bandits, and now they've been proscribed as, terrorists, and yet we still don't even have a solution to it. So the solution for me is not to tell everybody, carry weapons in your house. Yes, you can have anything for self-defense, but just nobody cannot continue to have firearms. Firearms is something that you must regulate. And you cannot say because we are now in a serious crisis, all of you, defend yourself. I've always been on this table and I would not understand that self-help option. Okay. Already in Nigeria, we have people who are licensed to carry guns in their houses. You apply, you get the licenses. I think they don't give female, they give male. But they have it. We have that provision already. But you cannot just call out. Governor Otom did it one time when he screamed and said, everybody, defend yourself. You can't continue like that. You as governor must do the needful. The needful is employ more qualified police officers.
Where is he going to get the money? He's not in charge. He's not in charge.
Then he doesn't admit that there's a crisis.
Okay, let me come to you.
Okay, so for me too, for so long I've been on this side of the table where I don't see why you would tell civilians to go and defend themselves or carry arms. But I would not deny the fact that too many attacks have happened. And the story we hear is we're investigating to see who has done it. The police appeared very late into the action, hours or a whole day after, before security was able to get to that village or the community that it happened. And I think that this has to be the only rational step forward. And the reason I have changed my stance is because I'm looking at it. This is not a governor saying to people, everybody on the street, go and get guns. He's saying that people should prepare and obtain these weapons from the police. They'll be licensed to them, so we know who and who is getting what. And for the farmers who are going to into the farms, you would have your weapons. You have at least basic weapons that can use to defend yourself. We have to do this because obviously our country does not have the wherewithal, as we like to say, to protect all its citizens. We don't have enough manpower to be everywhere in Nigeria when these attacks happen. So we need to have people who can defend themselves.
If the person that wants to go and rob you, if you know that there's the potential that that person has a gun, so you are going there, know that I'm going to take somebody's phone, but you know that there's the possibility because now we are licensed. If they know that there's a person that somebody that is driving might have a gun or shows a gun, he wouldn't try to sit. So maybe, just maybe, if we begin to license citizens who can properly register and we can trace to you, maybe crime would reduce. I don't know.
We're talking of this specific.
I know Zamfara is specific, but if we make it because where we are right now, we have a crisis, as you have said. So is that how we do it or we don't?
So my perspective is we cannot treat a sickness that we have not diagnosed. So it is like we haven't properly, let's do a proper diagnosis of what the problems are. What's the issue with our security structure? Most of the police stations don't have enough resources. They don't have bullets. Their vehicles are run down. They don't have fuel in the vehicle. When you call them, they're not well motivated. These are the real issues. So are we saying that we want to disregard the police who will not resolve their issues and they will not give guns to individuals? No. Because at the end of the day, I feel that until we deal with the real issues, that's diagnosing the real symptoms. So the governors are acting out of frustration.
Nigerians, we have diagnosed. And they've thrown money at it, but yet corruption keeps taking that money away. So you as a government say, police force, they need more money. You budget more money. But that money doesn't get to the policeman.
That did not
somehow
diagnose well. The real issue is that we need to bring in state policing and community policing. We see what is happening in America. Yes, I could say the story of how they shot back at someone, but the real crisis is when you have guns everywhere, you will have killings and shootings everywhere. So we think we have killings and shootings right now. But when we have more guns, we would have more killings and shootings. You will have cases where people will just feel like, I'm angry, I'm depressed, or somebody was...
But this time around, you'll be able to arrest the shooter because you know the gun.
A developed country is still struggling with the fact that there are guns everywhere. So we would have more cases of killings and shootings, and we don't have the structure to curtail the drama that would happen at that point in time.
Recently, bread producers and caterers have threatened to withdraw their services nationwide due to the unprecedented increase in bakery materials and the neglect of the federal government to this matter. According to them, the cost of flour, sugar, and other materials used in bakery business has skyrocketed beyond expectations. Now, what are your general thoughts on this? Because this is not only about bread. It's about rice, plantain,
eggs,
beans, eggs, so many, the basic staple of food that we eat in Nigeria. Bread is a staple. Everybody buys bread.
Yeah,
These guys are saying it might become 1,000 naira. I was in this country when bread was 200 naira. From 200 to 250, it became 400. Now it's about 600.
400 for so long. I remember I would say, go on, your change is 600 naira. Gufran, when she was about 3 years old. Gufran is 9 now. See what they are selling bread as. Me, I'm not eating bread again.
How about the children? Are they not eating?
Survive not eating bread? How can your children
You know what my
survive?
children do? They are very selective. So sometimes you just have to be very proactive as a parent. My children can buy a long loaf of bread, take two each, and that's okay. And you come back 3 days, bread don't spoil. We don't want to eat bread again.
What? My children will have dinner maybe around 6 p.m. Once I come in with bread, they must eat that. They'll finish one whole. I buy 3. I buy 3 loaves every. Okay. Like that's how much you do in the day, and we buy it every 2 days.
Okay.
3 loaves, and it finishes. On the same So they say that this one loaf might be 1,000 naira very soon if federal government doesn't intervene.
So I can actually empathize with bread makers and bakers because the cost of flour has gone up. Many of them need to store food, and they're storing with diesel generator because there's no light. They buy their cold products, and it has to be kept. If not, it will get spoiled. They now have to throw that expense on their goods. We cannot deny that food stuff have become very expensive. I'm one that I'm not wired to check what is in the house. I'm not. I grew up with not having enough. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be measuring food for people that are living in my house. But it is biting. Like you would, there's 1 minute, it's pepper has finished. I'm like, we just bought 10,000 naira per. Like, what are we doing? What are we cooking? How many are we in the house? Yeah. And another, like, pepper has finished again. Now there's no more fish in the house. All the meat has finished. And I'm wondering, what is going on exactly? And it's now, my mindset is, I want to just increase my income. Just go and make more money. You cannot say they should not eat. You cannot say your children want to eat, but you cannot say you cannot buy them bread. Your goal is to just hustle and make more money.
And I've learned a lot from you because before, for me, it's food. It's just food. Just buy it. If it's finished, you go and get it. But it makes a lot of sense that a lot of our money, our budget goes towards food. And if you don't regulate, if you don't pay attention to it, monies that could go into reinvesting that can make you even more money for the food you'd have put into eating it. So I think it's a good thing. But I know with my husband, we argue. My husband would never want to listen to that. They say 3 days, no milk. Why? I mean, how dare you? Or you put... Me, I grew up when you are eating beans then, when I didn't know better, when they said beans was protein. If you're eating beans, you don't necessarily eat meat. You cannot do that in Mr. Longe's house. How? Every kind of food, there must be meat or fish or something, especially with the children. But I think it's important that, especially that things are tight, everywhere, maybe the conversation really would be what are the decisions that we can be making right now in our homes to sort of help tide us over. But the reality right now, globally, so this is not just a Nigerian problem. When we say Nigeria happens to people, it's a global problem. And it's also life. There used to be a time when I was in secondary school, I think we used to buy Gary for 5 naira. 5 naira. I'm sure some people have never even seen the 5 naira notes. So it just, times will keep changing. And then the thing is, how do I earn more income? How do I manage properly what the income I already have to help me, you know, have more or better for next? But that's it.
If one loaf of bread is 1,000 naira, I mean, in my house I buy 3 loaves. But grandma, Momo and grandma have traveled to Ikiti. They went about 2 weeks ago, so they've gone for just to go and check the house. So my house is reduced. I now have about, I think we used to be 11 minus 2. That's 9 of us left in the house now. So we can still manage. So, but I buy that every 2 days because the kids are constantly. Elizabeth can finish like 8 slices. Like
that's exactly the number. So they say it's like a case of if we can't take, it won't go around 3 people 8 the bread.
And I have 4 kids. So it's like
what I would hear about Oyinbo people then, they say after the Second World War, things were so tight. A lot of people used to have to make their food, make their bread, sew their clothes. So, I don't know, we may have to start thinking of all these things that we give out to people and pay them. We will start thinking of how we make them for ourselves. Bread, people will have to start thinking of making bread for yourself.
But you still have to buy the materials.
Yam has also become so expensive.
Yes, because...
And yam is an alternative to bread for me. Yam potatoes, they are alternatives. They've become so expensive. Yam, too. If you don't buy...
What about crate of eggs?
2,000.
Yes.
I bought crate of egg in this Lagos at 700 naira.
Yes.
Now it's about 1,000 naira or 2,000.
It's 2,100.
Imagine that.
Because I know that my ex-supplier, I remember when he said, oh, sorry, the prices have changed, it's now 2,000. In 2 weeks, it's like, well, sorry, please, it's now 2,100. So.
There was a story that caught our attention that happened in Lagos State about a bus driver who was stabbed to death. What happened was, I think it was on the way to Ekpe, he had run down a cow. So herdsmen were passing, and he obviously was on a speed, and then he hit a cow, and the cow was crushed to death. 2 of the herders brought out their knives and stabbed him to death. They have since been arrested, but this has brought up the conversation again on the worth of a human life in Lagos State. And what happens when you run into a cow? Is this something that you lose your life for? These are conversations that I would like to have this morning. We're not saying the life of a cow is insignificant either. You know, yes, a cow is important. A cow is an animal. It's the creation of God. No, don't look at me like that. I'm trying to moderate and host this show, please.
I was looking at you. It's not conscious.
You know, a cow, yes, is a living thing. So the same way you crush an insect, you know, I tell my kids, don't kill the fly. Just open the window, let it go out. You know, just, you know, get it.
Don't say it. No, don't say it. Just
off your mic.
Off your mic. Off your mic. Off your mic.
Let me start by saying. I feel the word that came to my mind is barbaric. Barbaric, and how barbaric we are becoming more and more violent on a daily basis. It just reminded me of what happened in Lekki. Like, this is on Admiralty Way. How can you burn a human being on Admiralty Way in Lagos? Then we see this one. You stab a human being in Lagos. Like, what's going on?
In a yellow bus too, you know?
And my thought was, these are Nigerians. The headers are Nigerians. They are the Nigerians we did not raise to value human life, who feel the cow is more important to them, and you just killed my cow. These are Nigerian men. My husband and I were in the car, and we saw 2 cows running on the expressway, and the headers, one of them was running, the other was on the bike, trying to catch up with the cow. I was scared, because 1, this cow was running. If anything happens to the cow, 1, it will damage my car. 2, my life is at risk. But I did nothing to put that cow on the road. And the cow had no right to be on the expressway. But here is the cow running around, and cars were swerving around.
And a herder jumped on the bike to chase it, because that cow is so important to that herder.
So my head, I was just like, where are we going to? This is not sustainable. We can't continue like this. And this news just brought
So it wasn't actually the driver that was stabbed. It was the conductor, the bus conductor that was stabbed to death. The driver fled.
We're talking of people burning a girl in university because she said something that was alleged to be blasphemous, and we haven't heard anything over that since then, because you're sort of giving people the right to carry out justice by themselves, jungle justice by themselves. What is so sad about this is also the fact that many eyewitnesses say that, well, plus the eyewitnesses, that the man was screaming and crying. There were people there, no one came to help him. There's 2 police checkpoints there and a police station just around the corner, and everybody just watched as he was lynched to death. And that's the same reaction we got for the young man on the bike as well, that was lynched to death, and people said no one just came to their rescue. So also there's this mentality where people are, they're not helping people, they're just allowing evil, bad people get away with evil.
That's why I want to carry it from illegal arms. To arm yourself, as far as I know, in this part of the world, to arm yourself.
With what?
With anything, whether it is knife, cutlass, gun, anything. Even catapult, even catapult is illegal in this part of the world. Now, I see police every day. They will stop this car that has, young people, maybe the windows are brown, tinted window. They will bring everybody down, check your phone. Meanwhile, phone is not an arm. But all these people, they walk with arms, with knives.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Those Okadas, when you lift their seat up, there are knives inside. You know those ones that push, that carry carts? The carts. I was driving on this Ibadan Express Road one day, and this trailer, I don't know if he even touched him, maybe he was just destabilized. Do you know that guy dropped his cart, picked up, if you see the big dagger that this guy carried, myself and Theo were in the car like this, ran to the trailer, and he jumped on top of the trailer.
Wike, you know what you're saying right now just reminded me. Just 2 days ago, Wike, I was driving Alakbere, this is our express here, towards Magodo here. And there's a bush in the middle of the road. There was a guy, I was at the back seat. There was a guy, he was inside the bush. He had a knife, a dagger. He was kind of sharpening it. And my driver just said, I just saw it. He was sharpening his dagger. And I'm thinking to myself, these are the people that come and arrest people at night.
They always have.
They always have it in this Lagos. So the truth is that people are already carrying arms. But you and I are not carrying arms. But they come to attack you and I. So that's what Governor Matawale is saying. That maybe we should not all of you should get arms, but let me license you. Let me do a test for you. Make sure that you are emotionally in the right sense of mind. Make sure that I can trace what I know the gun I've given to you before you carry gun. So I know that you have given gun. It's not that your senses are not all right.
Mariah, once again, I would not agree with that. But let's go.
I'm just telling you what he said.
Yes.
Just telling you what he said.
I don't agree with what he said.
Okay.
Unless we have a system where there's ranching and putting these herders in a place where they stay, and then you can educate and train these people. A lot of the herders are, whether we like it or not, largely uneducated. And this is how they have herded for so long. We need to make this conversation about ranching more serious. A lot of people, of course, know you're a well-known face. You're a huge celebrity in Nigeria and probably Africa. And sometimes I wonder, do you wonder if you're being asked to be a running mate to Mr. Abraye Tonte is because of that part of you, that side of you, that you are already a celebrity, and you would bring a popularity to, in my own opinion, an otherwise not so well-known face of Mr. Tonte Abraye. Is that why they have put you on board? And how would you determine that you're not just used for your fame and your celebrity, but also because they know that you have something to offer to the party and Rivers State?
Thank you very much for that question. It's really an important one. I would like to say that I have worked critically with my governor candidate and my governorship candidate, and he has worked closely with me. And one thing he has been able to achieve that other people do not achieve is the sincere heart and the sincere passion I have for change and for the country. And nevertheless, it is a plus that I am who I am, and that would actually add substance and actually poise to the campaign and the party. But that's not the only reason. Mr. Tonto picked me because he knew how passionate I am for change. He knows how loyal I am for change. And he knows that I am one of the best people for that job. I'm not coming into the office as a celebrity. I'm coming as a citizen, as a youth who is saying I am tired. And I want to be inclusive in active policy. I want women to come out and have a say in what happens in their country and how they live their life. I'm here today because this is my passion. Okay. I want to be able to have a voice, not through sitting down and lounging on my couch, but actually being in the field and working for my people.
Okay, let Wike ask a question. Go ahead.
Yeah. What's your relationship with Wike like?
He's our #1 citizen, and I do believe that he has a personal relationship with my father and my family. Some people might say he's my uncle, but I would just like to see him as the #1 citizen of River State.
Has he supported your ambition so far?
No, he has never been supportive to me in any form or way, but that is not a problem, because it is the people who know you that would ignore that you can shine until all the people support you and for you to grow. So I do not take it personal. I just he just doesn't know what I'm capable of.
Ah, nice.
Tonto.
You're speaking all the right English. Before I start discussing the matter, it's important to start. We don't know the full story, and we cannot judge from outside, inside. So we're not here to act as though we know what happened or what caused the breakdown. Somebody can say something else, and that person we've not heard from the other side. So we don't have the full story. Nobody has a right to comment on somebody else's marriage. That's a fact. However, everything we discuss here is speculative, based on, hypothetically speaking, what could have happened, and our lessons that we hope to learn from it. So that's what your view does. We look at an issue and say, okay, what are the lessons we can learn from it? Because, hey, life is about lessons. So 5 things I'd like us to touch on, ladies, is the conversation. As I said, we don't know what happened, but these are things that we're thinking possibly.
I would say long-time fan of both parties in this marriage, and I'm a very, very committed fan of Funke Akindele. So for me, it breaks my heart knowing how bloggers had insinuated that this breakup was going to happen. This is where JJC skills offended the ancestors in this matter. Because if he didn't put it out there, it will remain a gossip. Yeah. And you can then still deal. If indeed he was crying out for help, so I don't know who his advisors were, you can then still deal. Because if you give something time, eventually you forget how painful it was. It's easier to forgive with time. I believe that these issues that they are dealing with, if they look at it in the next 5 years, they won't understand it. So I believe that every marriage has a season. And I believe this is their season. It's just so sad that you're quickly letting it go. You know, people don't want to wait the wait. People don't want to put in the work. And because the bloggers, yes, these are celebrity couples, it's difficult for them not to have a photo shoot. The people that even collect husbands said they did photo shoot. You know, photo shoot and all of those things, go on red carpet together. Maturity is that try, even if you must not be in marriage.
But Nima, let me pause you for a second. Is it fair? Is it fair on a man or a woman's conscience where you know, okay, maybe you've fallen out of love for your husband or for your wife, or maybe you've moved on, you know? Is it fair to continue to, you know, be like the Joneses and just pretend when you go? Because remember what happened at AMVCA? They have to come together and just take a picture, picture perfect. Yeah. He's tired of that. He's tired of that fake life. He wants to, you know what, let me go, I'm done.
A conversation. Now, the wife when you toast, you not put time for social media when you toast time. Give it time. That conversation, if it takes you this long, and you have children involved, if it takes you this long, and I mean this long, yes, wait that conversation. People don't understand what love is again. Love, is not, I love you,
I love you,
we are doing wedding. Love forgives. Even, you know, some people...
Love is respect.
Pray and respect.
Somebody like a Funke is an alpha female. She's an authority. She's a strong, very strong personality. And if you do not understand how to handle people who are that strong, it wasn't the success that made her that strong. It's her personality. But then the success comes along the way, and that personality is a leader. Her drive, her passion for her success. She's able to take decisions with or without you. She can. Those sort of people can take decisions with or without. They don't need to even ask the husband, how do we share this money or how do we do this? They are movers. They are moving. So it takes a spouse who understands how this woman operates, and a spouse who is not like the woman. An alpha female cannot be with an alpha male. Two of them will clash. So personality is also something we should be looking at while we are, because you know when you're not successful, you can pretend not to feel offended when some decisions, you have to take permission for some things, because you don't have the capacity to stand on your own. When you have the capacity, you have the financial independence to stand on your own, that is when your true nature now shows, because you are not supposed to be taking permission from anybody.
Okay, so, you know, we
need to
see
also
a lot of these
observe that.
examples.
Men from day one have been taught that you are the provider, you are the woman, you are the head, the woman is the neck, or whatever. So from day one. So I think with marriages, even if you have a successful woman, yourself, be your own success. The mistake a lot of couples make is when you now join your business together as one.
It's not a mistake, Wike. Don't say that.
not supposed
There's
to
some
be a
people that join together and it's still successful.
But I agree. I agree. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of them, okay, in this case, JJC, was that his name? JJ Skills.
JJ Skills, yeah.
JJC Skills. He was actually a successful hip-hop artist. He had that hit tune now.
Yes.
So I knew him before he met Funke Akindele. I knew Funke Akindele
Separately, yeah.
separately, you know. So in their right, they were both successful.
Yeah.
Now they now come together. I don't know who was more successful. And then maybe one brings more money and one spends more. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that is where the conflict will first start.
Major issues, yes.
Yeah, but one is supposed to bring more money now. I don't understand.
No,
One is supposed to bring, but that's where the conflict will start. If you're a woman and your husband is the one making all the money, and then every time the husband comes in, just say, "You're a useless, good for nothing woman. All you do is eat my money," and he keeps telling you that.
To affect you.
It will affect you. So it can work
both ways.
What I'm trying to say is it can work both ways. What we need is a balance. And that balance is understanding of each other. Respect each other, understand each other. And, you know, anybody's luck can drop at any time. So all you need is to guide each other.
The reality we talk about where a man gets intimidated with a woman's success is gradually fading off. It's with our husband's age mates. The young boys now want you to have money before they come in.
High five. You're right.
In fact, when you go on a date, I hear young girls who talk to me a lot and they say they go on, the first thing they ask is, where are you working? How much are you earning? Because nobody wants to carry liability. They want to be sure that you can hold your own.
So that's flipped now.
Flipped now. So that's not the new reality.
I don't agree.
Yes, I know. So wait, Wike. So based on what she said now, because of this our generation, this is why having this issue. The next generation now, a boy is accepted the fact that wait, you have more money than me. I'm okay.
You should have more money than me.
And I'm okay.
It's not all young boys that are saying you should have more money.
Wike, you'll be surprised.
My nephew, he's not asking his girlfriend to have more money.
That's my day. That's 1 in a million.
That's one nephew.
That's one nephew.
That's one nephew.
Say your own nephew. Who is your own nephew?
Take statistics. You know people talk to
Let me take this call.
Relationship coach.
You said recently that you had some mental issues. Is that correct? What's that about?
I had depression, max depression. I've been depressed for some years, and it became very worse when I lost my daughter in 2020. And sometimes
sorry to hear that.
It's well. Sometimes I wake up and you know, we practically grew up together. I was 14 when I had her, so she was more like my younger sister. And my friend, she was my best friend, and I just saw my world crumbled before me.
Yes, we understand.
I'd lost 3 of my sisters before that time, and each of them had like three children. I'd lost like 3 of my brothers. and my father.
Oh.
So after burying all these people, then my daughter, my younger sister that died she died in 2018. She was a footballer. She was one of our female coaches. She was one of the assistant coaching under 19 female national team. And after she died, I thought I was going to be the next. I don't know. But when my daughter died, my world crumbled before me. And then sometimes I see myself for days. I could cry for days. And I've been in and out of hospital.
Do you think the experience you've had can give you strength to help other people who might be going through this? Because this is an opportunity, especially when people go through this kind of situation, they use it as a strength to help others who are going through it right now.
Definitely. I get DMs almost every day for people. Some people say they want to commit suicide, and I ask them why. After burying seven family members, and my daughter joined the 8th, became the 8th of them. You know what that means? Well, I died 1,000 times. So if I see anybody that is going to say, one of the advice I'll give to them first, talk to a doctor.
Okay.
I used to get professional help. I used to go to Calabar before now because, you know, Nigeria were very funny. When you say you have mental issue, they just assume that you are running mad. Yeah. It could be schizophrenia, it could be depression, and it could be anything, you understand? Bipolar, it could be bipolar and all that. So I used to leave Lagos to Calabar to get medical attention until recently got a doctor in Lagos. It was very messy. It was very bad. God just helped me.
Fantastic. You look good, though.
Thank you very much.
I see your friendship with Empress, and I see how much Empress does every of you, because I follow you. I follow her as well. And what she does, how she tries to, you know, be your strength or your shoulder that you can lean on.
Empress is not my friend, though. She's my younger sister. Because we've known each other for more than 23 years.
Yeah.
And we've been family friends. The mom calls me. Empress does not even show me love like her mother. Mother will call me and pray for me. She knows my birthday. She will remember. She will call me and everything. Right. She's more like she's a sister. And when it was time to show that, yes, she's supposed to be there for me. Right. And she was there. She's always there. Like recently, she came to Lagos after leaking one of our conversations, because me, I don't know how to use phone, but I like big phone. After leaking our conversation, she came to the house. She spent some days with me, and we prayed and talked and tried to encourage me once again. And we're getting better by the day.
How has your colleagues been supportive?
Oh, my colleagues, they've been beautiful. Like last year when Empress and my guy, they did that surprise birthday for me. Come and see calls now. Come and see calls. Come and see calls. Not just calls, cash gifts. People were giving me gifts. My colleagues were everywhere. Wow. They were just there for me, including Funke Akindele, Iniedo. I cannot start mentioning names. They were all there. They were calling Chigol. They were sending money like that. Wow. They were there for me, Yabo Ojo. They were just there. Fantastic. They were there. They were just there. Then my colleagues on the Johnsons, my executive producer, because I know there was a time that I was away for 3 months, and they were going to be, they were still paying me. They were just there for me. They were just there. They were there. And my followers, because sometimes when I open my phone, the kind of prayers I hear and everything.
Fantastic.
I didn't know. I never knew Nigeria. I never knew the world loved me like this.
Fantastic. I'm so happy. We're happy to hear that. And we'll continue to hope and strength that God will give you strength and pray for your strength. Because I believe that, you know, all things work together for good. I know that God is going to help you through this journey. Amen. So that you can help millions of other people who might walk this journey so that they can have the strength that you have so far.